Hello listeners, let's talk about the Backrooms. On April 21st, 2018, an anonymous 4chan X-board user posted an image of a disquieting yellow room with bland faded wallpaper and a dusty but moist carpet. Attached with this image was a short paragraph elaborating on the unsettling idea. It reads, "If you're not careful, and you noclip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet and the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell heard you." Now, that's very rare that something like that gets posted, a short, internet-based horror story dealing with modern feelings of unease and loneliness and separation and monotony, written by an anonymous user. There's an old term for this: Creepypasta. This is one of the first true notable creepypastas to come around in at least a decade or more. How will authors, writers, content creators, and content thieves react to the story and image combination that genuinely unsettles viewers and readers? Will they treat it with the respect and comprehension of the idea behind it, or will it get watered down? Let's find out by reading some Backroom spin-off stories.
Welcome to the Fearfic Podcast. Fearfic is the term for short horror fiction, mostly posted on the web. It includes any and all related subgenres. Join three assholes talking basement goo Slimebeast, inebriated interstellar traveler Abysmii, and irritable ghostly man-horde Dead Palette, as they read all stories horror and internet-related, paragraph by paragraph, and bullshit while they do it. From adolescent revenge fantasies to subtle postmodern narratives about real-life events and everything in between, they read it and critique. You better believe it. Kick it to the cold open, white boy.
Hey, what your boy up to? It's me, fucking the guy you like to watch on your show. So
look at this video. I'm gonna eat a big old $10,000 pizza. Big country pizza.
God damn it, the plug hasn't happened yet. You fuck. All right. Well, anyway, so there was a motion picture called Antlers that was announced that was based on an internet horror story, except the internet horror story was written and posted by one of the writers of Channel Zero, not really actually a creepypasta or nosleep author.
No, not a part of the community, and apparently that this is happening again at Netflix.
I should point out to anybody who's wondering, the reason why this is quote-unquote a bad thing is because they're making the movie deals and then posting the stories online, like as advertising, like, you know, it's from your community and it's coming to this fall to Netflix, you know.
Which I think, well, okay, we know on YouTube it is against policy and possibly illegal in certain regions to not declare that you're advertising.
Well, don't tell that to Brie Larson, but go ahead.
Oh, no. But this is very clearly advertising, and it works because on the nosleep OOC subreddit, you know, not minutes after the fucking article launched, people were going, "Did you see a nosleep story is getting a movie adaptation?" And there are people in the comments saying, not quite, but a lot of people are buying that.
Right.
And it's very, very scummy to see.
Well, I mean, like, when that streaming service Shudder, when they put Channel Zero up on there after Channel Zero was canceled, they put all the seasons on Shudder, and that started a whole new wave of people saying, "There's this new show about creepypasta on Shudder. They're making Candle Cove." Like, oh, damn it.
Guys.
Would you prefer to see popular no-sleep stories made into movies, or since we've read them on the show, would that be fucking horrible? Because we didn't like them?
Absolutely not. Well, here's the thing, though, is if the community decides
whatever it is. Hey, I like this thing. Let's say that, it has a clickbait title, or, it's just like a bunch of like weird, unrelated events, and people got intrigued and they were interested and they upvoted it because they have small, stupid brains and they're not as smart as us Fearfic people. Hey, fine, whatever, because they got there on their own merit, even if we don't like their stories.
Right.
They're popular out there, and for people to invade the community and be like, no, guys, I've just been one of you guys all along. And it's just like, no, shut the fuck up. You're not. That's really gross.
Yeah.
That's really gross.
I'm going to look into some of the past announcements that have been made, because I wasn't thinking of this previously. There have been other things that have been picked up from No Sleep, so I'm going to retroactively go back now and, take a look at, was this actually popular, or was this another AstroTurf thing that we all missed? I want to sort of coin a new phrase here, greetings fellow creeps. I think that's what these people are saying. Hey, fellow creeps, I'm just like you.
Well, that's happened every time Creepypasta.com has been flipped. It's just like a new owner comes in. Hello, fellow creep guys. I heard that this thing is popular, and I have also been a part of this thing the whole time.
What will you do to renovate Creepypasta.com and keep it relevant for 2020? Well, I'm going to add links to the bottom to my other sites. Smokers World, World Clock. You could find out what time it is, Creepypasta fans. Fuck. But yeah, I wanted to point out, we talked about this Netflix series. It's called My Wife and I Bought a Ranch, is what they're calling it in news articles and shit. But I want to point out these people are so shameless about trying to make this seem like it was organic that they named it My Wife and I Bought a Ranch in the Mountains Last Year, and my neighbor had some interesting suggestions on how to manage our new land. That's the title.
God.
So they even went with a No Sleep title to fool people into thinking this was actually a No Sleep story. Now, the writer of this, the reason he has an in and the reason we're saying it's like fake is because his brother works at Netflix and has for like a year or more previous to this. Mm-hmm. So it's more likely that these two brothers said, let's do this and, write the thing up and then I'll post it up so people think it's a story that got picked up from No Sleep. But yeah.
It really, I don't like the Channel Zero treatment or adaptation of Candle Co. But at least I know, just because of following Chris Straub in the past, how much he
following him literally in person, but yes.
Yeah, outside his home in Chattanooga. I don't know.
Chattanooga? That's interesting.
Chattanooga. He runs a horror podcast. It's like a small-time thing. He has a YouTube series called, I think, Channel 58 or something. He clearly likes horror and does it, and that adaptation did come from the fact that it was a massively popular story plastered all over the fucking internet, everywhere. And this is just such stark contrast of random. I think you said it got maybe 3,000 upvotes on Reddit.
Yeah,
it's something, especially for No Sleep. That's a drop in the fucking bucket. It's better than most stories, but it's that wouldn't even make it to the top of a day.
Right. I can't remember exactly, but I think there was, when you filtered it by day or by week or by month or whatever, and when you got to the really long durations, it was taking forever to scroll down to find it because it was so far buried in No Sleep. It wouldn't be something that popped out to a producer.
Well, here's the thing. I wanted to mention this and talk about this specific subject because we're going to be reading about something that had a very organic growth. The Backrooms, just as a concept, and it's one of the first, I would say, memeable, and I don't just mean in terms of funny, although that too. First memeable, creepy thing by an anonymous author in forever, and I find that fascinating because we don't really get that anymore.
And if we want to say to everybody out there, if you have an organic growth in your back room, please see a physician. So yeah.
So first we're going to read a story from Reddit, No Sleep, by yourdndguy, The Backrooms, and this seems to be the story that expanded on that and took off more than any of the other ones, but there really haven't been any absolutely big backroom story. It's mostly just been the little 2-paragraph thing that's been shown around.
And there was a Backrooms video game.
There were multiple.
Multiple? Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Are there any where Siren Head chases you through the Backrooms?
Probably. I just haven't seen it yet.
All right, so the back rooms, it's late September. You remember these nights, muggy, humid, just a hint of the coming fall. Too cold for a t-shirt, but too warm for a sweater.
All should be capitalized. These are the nights best spent at Cook Place Community Mall in my modest Midwest hometown. A diamond in the rough, in my eyes. This shopping center is a break from the monotony of tired hardware stores and family grocers that lined Main Street. Main Street should be capitalized.
Yeah,
well.
Main isn't capitalized and Street is capitalized.
And these are nitpicks, people.
Yeah.
Like, not saying the story's bad, just noticing these things.
Yeah, to us, this is basically just pointing out things we notice as we go. It's not like, you didn't capitalize this, story over, fuck you.
Destroyed, Christian.
The Cook Place Mall is typically packed to capacity.
Ooh. So, I also want to point out the perfect person to make a Backrooms game would be Puppet Combo. Okay, so...
Which they did.
They did?
Yeah.
Why is everything I say coming true? I am a millionaire. I'm a multimillionaire. Damn, it didn't work. But not tonight, because it was 8:15 on a Tuesday night. 45 minutes until close. So, we go from tonight to it was a night, so a little bit of a tense shift there. Not exactly prime window shopping hours. Despite that, my 3 friends and I were still going strong. We were ending the night in the dusty arcade located in the basement of the shopping mall. It was down a short flight of stairs between the Dairy Queen and Sbarro in the food court.
Sbarro.
It's a Sbarro.
Sbarro. Faded
worst pizza in the world.
Faded and flickering carnival lights lined the dimly lit hallway and steps.
I like how out of time this feels. It's probably like not present day,
right?
But it could be depending on where you are in the country. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but it's all very recognizable imagery.
Because we don't even know and Amazon killed malls. But yeah.
Yeah. No, well, to be fair, though, it also made malls scarier. So for us horror fans, it's way better. Because you get these, like, desert malls. I love that there's a place called Akiba Arcade near where I live. And it's, like, a weeb store with, like, a bunch of... It's an arcade with a bunch of, like, Japanese import games that you can't play in America that are just, like, weird, wacky, and crazy. Man, Japan's so weird. And it's fun to go to. But it's in the middle of the most ghetto-ass dead mall you can imagine. And so the mall looks like it's just like this giant parking lot with no cars in it whatsoever. It looks like it's an abandoned mall. But then you go up close to it and, like, in the windows, there's just, like, a bunch of, like, kawaii anime figures and shit. And it's like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
Welcome to Cyberpunk 2025, or whatever the fuck it is.
So I did want to say that the beginning of this is kind of it's not saying this, but it's very naturally evocative of the beginning of Silent Hill 3, where you're just kind of going through a quiet, isolated mall. Nothing's out of place. It's just a little weird, and I like that. I think it's doing a good job so far.
Yeah.
I will say that close to where I live, there's a strip mall. Like 3 storefronts that basically were never profitable and never had anything stay there. Now it's been torn down, but before it was torn down, one of the strip mall storefronts was a, like, daycare center. Unmarked, no sign, but in the window it said, "Drop-in children welcome," painted on the window. And it had little handprints, of paint on the window, like for decoration, quote unquote. So it just looked like a child killing factory. It just, it just looked like child murder central.
Have you written a story about this?
Nah.
Susan, I told you not to to have the kids do nothing but use red finger paint. Okay?
What
they have
finger
other
paint?
colors. What finger paint? That's just ketchup. Andy, do you have another quarter? Oh, Philip, my youngest friend, questioned as the word "game over" splattered across the screen. Philip was 12 years old and a bit underdeveloped for his age, if you know what I mean.
All right, this better not end with somebody getting pulled into the arcade machine.
Andrew, his older brother, my best friend, and my biology partner, scowled as he rummaged through his pockets in vain. Maybe if you were a bit better at the game, I'd have more quarters for you to play on.
Oof.
Get good, scrub.
Ouch.
Imagine paying for a video game with a single quarter. So yeah, this is not recent.
Yeah.
Well, it's clearly not in a barcade, so never mind.
We had our fake IDs at hand. It was 8:16 p.m., and it seemed our time in the arcade may be coming to a close. I had a few loose quarters left in my pocket, but that was going to stay my secret. I was hoping to spend it on a Coke tomorrow before class started.
This is so quaint. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just very quaint.
Fucking elitist Abysmii.
I will say that the 8:16 p.m. thing is unnecessary. Like, we don't need to know that. Like, it's close to closing time.
I can forgive that. I can, constantly checking the clock before closing because you want to get in one more game. I can see that. That's fine.
I also considered what you said, and I disagree, but that's fine. We can be friends.
I disagree.
It was 8:16, and I had been feeding quarters into the clock. I only just realized.
Paying for time. Sacrifice your quarters in your pocket for more time on the clock. Neither of you get that joke, but it's funny to me. Hey, if you get that joke, put a comment down below.
Hey, if you get
Clay,
that joke, leave
please.
a comment below. Look at the comment. One comment that gets it. Oh, it's Dead Palette. Okay.
Please appease Brandon's ego.
Mm-hmm.
He needs it.
No, I don't. I'm very egotistical. What are you talking about? Clay, a guy Andy and I just met in biology, had clearly been waiting for the moment. Honestly, yeah, guys, it's getting a bit late. I think I'm going to bounce. Got to study for our exam on cellular reproduction.
Okay, that's too much right there. We got that biology test tomorrow. That's all you would fucking say.
Honestly, guys, yeah, it's getting late. I'm a bounce, yo. Gotta study for that exam on cellular reproduction. You know me, dog. I'm all about that mitosis.
Imagine Abysmii is just like, yeah, I would remember the exact minute that this thing was happening, but the class I was taking, no way.
Not the specific subject of the specific test for that specific day on a specific class. But checking the freaking clock all the time, that's one thing to remember. I can see that more than cellular reproduction.
Yeah, the lawyer would say that.
Yeah.
The exam wasn't for a week yet, but I wasn't bothered. Clay had been acting a bit ambivalent since we got to the mall. Seemed he wasn't a huge fan of having Philip around. Cramped his style, or whatever. I didn't care. Philip was pretty much like a brother to me, so he came first.
We don't need to know that. That's TMI, but okay. Philip, having realized there would be nary a quarter for him, gave up aimlessly pressing buttons on the greasy machine.
That's not a nice thing to say about your girlfriend.
That originally, by the way, the greasy machine was originally the name of Florence and the Machine.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, so do you want to come back in like 5 minutes? We'll start recording again, or?
That's how long it's going to take me to pee, guys. Good old washing my hands, 5-minute pee, washing my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you just go?
Sighed Andy.
Yeah, but we had a large soda. They're all just gangbanging this soda, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, buds, put your straws in there.
You had a large soda, kid. By the time I got a sip, it was all backwash.
Ew. Plus, it was a suicide. I chuckled as Andy and Philip started away from the arcade machines. Clay, while texting, so it's not in the 80s,
Hey, what the fuck?
followed lazily behind them.
Huh.
Maybe he has one of those big-ass phones, and he was just texting it, and then the message comes out the other side as Morse code.
Yeah, he's following behind them. He's, hold on, I gotta text my girl. He takes out this brick, and it's like... It's loud, in other words, because it's a big old brick phone.
It was about 8:24. Man, I don't like this time thing. And we had located the bathroom. The bathroom.
Yeah, now it's a bit excessive. I'll agree.
Where we used to use, using in the mall on the way out the front door was closed for renovation. So we had to find another one, an L-shaped hallway. Yeah, L-shaped objects. An L-shaped object hallway lit with yellow, humming fluorescent lights, ended with a corresponding bathroom on either side of the hall, with custodial equipment blocking the women's entrance. Entrance. Stroking out.
A better version of Stranger Things that I would rather have seen than Stranger Things.
Have you ever blocked a woman's entrance with your custodial equipment?
Oh, but I blocked an L-shaped hallway.
Oh.
Philip rushed into the restroom. The mall closed at 9 p.m., so we were going to need to get moving. Sure enough, as the thought crossed my mind, the rattly old mall intercom crackled to life with a ding-dong. An adolescent male's voice spoke sharply. Mall closing in 30 minutes! Mall closing in 30 minutes!
No end quotation marks. I checked my watch. It was 8:26 p.m. Huh. Wait, there's quotation marks at the beginning of I checked my watch. I guess he's saying that. Huh. Someone's in a hurry to get out of here tonight.
I thought. That's retail.
L in retail, not
bump.
italicized.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I think we're harping on it now because there's just a growing amount of little grammatical problems that are just impossible not to notice.
Maybe that's part of the story. Maybe if you read all the grammatical errors in order, it tells a whole different story.
Okay.
Epstein killed himself. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I thought these stories had to be realistic. Come on now.
I might just get going, you guys. I live pretty close to here. I'm just gonna walk instead of the bus. Good night.
Just lost my fucking place. Okay. Night Clay, which should be Night, Clay, because Night Clay is now an object of some sort, and I want to expand on that. Night Clay.
I am Night Clay. The more you punch me, the more deformed I am.
I was thinking that Night Clay would be some sort of terrorist weapon.
Oh,
it's like they've been developing Night Clay, codename Night Clay. It's an explosive that makes it dark out.
They hide it beneath all the kids' sandboxes.
You know what
it's an explosive
is?
that blinds you. Huh?
You know what a flashbang is? Well, it's kind of the opposite. So that means you can't see. Yeah, but your eyes are overloaded with nightness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like plastic explosives, but clay. So it's actually inferior substance. Night Clay, we said in unison. He turned his back and walked away, turning right to depart the mall. Andy and I looked at one another. I don't know. Kind of a wet blanket. He seemed really cool when I met him, Andy explained.
Nah, he was okay. Maybe just a little bit quiet. The texting was a bit annoying, though, especially since we're in the 80s. What the fuck was he even doing? Our attention was drawn to the sound of a flush from the bathroom. Andy's face twisted into a mischievous grin. Hey, we should give Philip a little fright when he comes out.
I just want to be clear, we're joking about the time frame. I don't think any of us are clear what time this is supposed to be taking place in. Besides the fact that it's fucking 8:26.
It's got to be like mid-2000s at least because of texting. So it could be on a fucking Nokia for all we know, but yeah.
Hey, let me just text my girlfriend on my Nokia N-Gage. And also, while I'm doing that, I'm going to play Lara Croft Tomb Raider for the N-Gage. Remembering how jumpy Philip tended to be, I felt a pang of guilt. I wasn't really very nice to... It wasn't really very nice to spook him. And we did it often. Nonetheless, I stood on the other side of the door opposite Andy, waiting for Philip to step between us, not expecting a thing.
We had our pants unbuttoned. Anyway.
The door swung open and angry. Philip stepped out into the hall.
No, Abysmii, you read that wrong. Read that italicized text the correct way, please.
I don't get it.
The door swung open!
Damn it. Well played. Philip stepped out into the hallway, focused on drying his hands on his pants. He stepped by, should be none the wiser.
Andy yelled as we each grabbed a shoulder. Philip yelled as he twisted around and fell backwards, leaving us each holding a shoulder in midair. Philip fell into the wall. And then Philip fell into the wall.
There's our noclip.
Mm-hmm. The idea of no clipping through reality is a great idea.
It's excellent.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the concept of the Backrooms is so just, it's fucking hilarious. It's a really funny concept that, like, reality is just Gary's mod.
Yeah.
And then 2, it's horrifying the idea that you end up in what is a shitty indie horror game that's been programmed by someone who only has access to one weird texture.
It's basically like the Minus World in Mario Brothers or something, where it's like, you're not intended to be here. It's not anything that was made for the final product. It just kind of exists. How did you get here?
There's also this element of, reality being a video game is like a very nihilistic, modern Zoomer kind of horror, and I really enjoy that. But it's funny that we were discussing Stranger Things because Stranger Things has the Upside Down, and I think that this is a more compelling version of the Upside Down that's more on the pulse of what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And so far we're shitting on this story, but I like that there's this intergroup dynamic. I wish that the dialogue was shaped up a little bit, but I'm enjoying this.
I wouldn't even say we're shitting on it. We're pointing out small issues,
right?
Very, very small issues.
But here's the thing:
it's a lot of small issues that culminate.
Here's the thing: we're pointing out the timestamps and the typos, but otherwise, it's a fine story, and we're enjoying it as a concept. But the concept is pre-existing, so we'll have to see. Yeah. This is a passable, good story so far. But we'll have to see, does it merit being its own story, or is it just like, okay, it's the cool thing about it is the concept that already existed, you know?
You have a low barrier of success for this story. Like, you don't have to do a lot for this to work, so I think it's fair to be somewhat critical.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. That was the only way I know how to describe it. One moment, he had slipped off his feet and crashed into the wall. The next, everything but his legs had gone through the wall. As if there were a perfectly shaped hole in the concrete. Philip's legs spasmed in the air, while the same looping spastic pattern, but for a few seconds.
So,
and then there was nothing left but solid concrete.
How happy are we with the idea that his legs are spanning not spanning. His legs are looping in like a walk cycle, I guess?
I'm not a fan. Yeah, goofy. Yeah.
I think
I like
it
the
would be
idea
good.
of just like, boof, like a magic trick.
Right.
Either that, or he goes into the wall and then like Gmod, he goes up the wall to the ceiling, you know?
Well, here's the thing, doing that in real life would be so much like violent whiplash that it would like break your fucking legs apart.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, think about the force that it would be required to like vibrate you like that.
Andy stuttered as he fell to his knees, his face a mixture of curiosity and confusion. As he shuffled towards the wall, his face turned to fear. I don't understand. Philip? He shouted his brother's name with a desperate, wavering cry.
He filled up the wall. Philip, he slammed his hands into the wall. Once. Twice. Not a third time. That was all he was willing to do for his brother. Twice, but no.
Fuck it, let's go home.
Yeah.
God damn it. You sucked him in.
Philip's head went through the wall like a screwdriver. Fucking shit.
Andy's head now protruded from the wall, facing the ceiling. His head seized from side to side as he continued screaming for his brother. What?
I guess he fell in too. He hit it twice and then he fell in.
Once, twice, not the third time. And the third time he fell in.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. We're fucking around and we didn't understand.
Twice, 3 times, stuck in the wall.
Rooms.
Yeah, Backrooms.
God, he sounded like he was yelling through a box fan.
That's a good description.
Backwards.
I like that description.
That's good. I stepped backwards as my best friend disappeared from sight, and I was left with his scream bouncing off the hallway walls, intensifying as it mixed with the hum of the fluorescent.
Elias, I want you to put in a sample of fluorescent hum right here.
Yeah. No, that was a zebra whinnying, Elias. A fluorescent light hum. Okay, that's better.
Thank you. The howl of the fluorescent. My back pressed against the bathroom door, and I jumped. I screamed as my world exploded with static, deafening and blinding me. The noise was unbearable, and the grain obscured everything. And all at once, it stopped.
I clutched my head in my hands, eyes squeezed shut. The static had dissipated, but was replaced with the hum of fluorescent lights, and the all-too-familiar yellow glow through my eyelids. So wait, he backed away from the wall, but now he's in the back rooms anyway? Or...
I think he went through a separate portal to the back rooms. Yeah.
And all at once it stopped. I clutched my head in my...
No, just read that.
But...
Sorry, I'm zoning out.
Okay, I know this is going to be hard for you, DP, but start at the butt.
But there was something new. A smell that hadn't been there before. A smelly smell that smelled.
God damn it.
Smelly.
Yeah.
A musty, wet smell of carpet. Carpet that should have been changed decades ago. The smell reminded me of the dilapidated bowling alley down the road from the mall.
I like that detail.
That's great. That's great.
This is the thing. We go through so many stories where it's like, we'll see something come up that's like a detail like that, and we're like, nah. And then sometimes it just works. It's just, entirely, point in time and how you use it. What point in the story.
I opened my eyes. Before me was the bathroom hallway, as I expected, lit by the same light as before. The bathroom doors were gone. There were no more doors. No more custodial equipment. Just a smooth slab of concrete wall.
I got to my feet and looked around me cautiously. It seemed I was in the mall still, but it was quiet. It felt different. The fluorescent humbuzz was too loud. My ears itch.
Bah humbuzz. I walked down the hallway in the direction of the food court. As I turned the corner, I was met with, not the opening to the food court as expected, but by another abrupt 90-degree corner turning left. Ding dong! I froze.
The loudspeaker was engaging. The empty air of the speaker nearest me told me that, but the operator had nothing to say. After a motionless moment, it felt like hours. Not a fan of that.
Yeah.
It felt like it lasted until 10:14 p.m.
But when in fact it was only 10:13 p.m.
God damn it.
The microphone snapped back to reality. Back to the console, cutting the empty noise. Whomst ever had activated the speaker seemed to have hung up. No space. Confusion.
Nope.
Confusing. Confused. And growing ever more frightful of where I had found myself, I turned the corner.
Now, here's the problem right now that I'm seeing is either he's going to find a laptop and start writing this, or he's going to get out. Because otherwise, how'd you write the story?
Yeah, and you can get out.
No. He's texting this. He's texting this to us through his Nokia Engage.
Oh.
Right. I was met with a large, empty room that I had never seen before. It was about the size of a classroom, with stained concrete walls. The smell of must was even stronger in here.
So a classroom.
Each wall had an identical rectangular door-shaped opening that seemed to be placed at randomly decided positions among the wall. Should be like along the wall, whatever.
Yeah.
The popcorn ceiling, littered with smears of dirt and greasy imprints, had long cracks spanning it. This room was clearly in need of renovation.
I got to work, picking up a tool belt that had laid on the ground and putting on a hard hat I found on the desk. I renovated the room. Oh, no.
Is that seriously what's good? Like, is this just like horror for people who watch HTV? HGTV?
Yes.
Is that what we're going to get? We're just going to get, like, people doing renovation it's like, oh, there's, this drab carpet, it's just not doing anything for this place. We really need to, spruce this up. Get some mirrors in here, really open it up, and we're going to take down that wall and...
That's when I saw it. A single termite that I knew would lead to more. I don't understand, I muttered out loud. I truly didn't. Oh, you didn't mutter it out loud, okay. This featureless room served no purpose other than a passageway to these other rooms. The lack of planning and absent attempt at caring for the room made me feel as if this place was long forgotten.
So, I don't know if this story is going to fully convey that, but I would like to remark that the horror that I derive from the Backrooms comes from when my mom would take your child
would tie me down
Mm-hmm.
and
tie me down
my
and
bed.
force me to read No Sleep. she would take me to work, like for, take her child to work days or whatever. And she used to work in a gigantic multi-story office building, any nondescript office building. And when you're a kid, that is fucking hell. There is nowhere, you can't go outside, you can't leave the floor, you can't bother anybody, you can't go into the elevator, you're not allowed to go in the stairwell. It's just rows and rows of cubicles, bright fluorescent lights, people talking about shit you don't understand and don't care about. And it is like, even if it's like an hour and a half, it feels like a day because you have nothing to do. And that is the feeling I get from the back room.
Bearing in mind, everyone, this was before the invention of Fortnite.
Right.
Yeah, it's before, and I wasn't allowed to have a fucking Game Boy, so I really didn't have anything to fucking do. So,
here's the thing: his family owned a Game Boy. It's just he wasn't allowed to have it.
Yeah. My mom usually played it on her breaks and would tease me.
Man, I sure do love catching all of these Pokemon.
I was going to say
expansive world.
I just got a Charizard. Bet you wish you had a Charizard, Chris.
Man, it's
Pokemon Go to bed, Abysmii.
Mom, please. I just want to leave.
Mom, please, can I see Pikachu? Can I see what he looks like? No.
Oh, he's already a Raichu. What's a Raichu? Well, you're never going to know.
You're never going to know, because you're a dumb child, little Abysmii. She just calls you Abysmii. You're just a 7-year-old child.
My mom's in the fucking break room playing, and I walk in, I stand at the doorway. Are you winning, Mom?
You've got a little cigarette cowboy hat.
I might as well try the next room, I thought to myself as I walked through the door to my left. The room I found myself in was bleak and unrecognizable as the last. From the first glance, the only difference in style was that this room was shaped like a triangle rather than an L-shaped bar. I heard a single cry from my right. It was more of a whimper, actually.
It was a wimpy whisper.
What the fuck? It was Clay's voice. It couldn't be Clay. I watched him leave the mall. Yay! I rushed through the door to find Clay lying in a fetal position in a long hallway, stretching a distance to my left and right.
So, Clay is also here despite leaving the mall. I guess he went to find a bathroom too when he left or something?
This feels like a Goosebump story, where despite the fact that everyone left, they've all ended up in the same place and they're trapped forever.
Change the channel! Change the channel!
I don't want to watch Animaniacs anymore.
I don't understand it. It's over my head. I'm too young. Clay babbled incoherently as he sobbed on the floor. Clay, you gotta get up! Clay didn't respond to me. He never would. His eyes, wide and unblinking with fear, were glued to the floor. With eyes wide open. Yeah. Glued to the floor.
I like how much, spite you put into that. He never would.
Yeah.
Typical Clay. Never responding to me, eyes glued to the ground.
Fucking Night Clay.
We were playing superheroes, and he always put his fucking name on the end of the superhero, and that wasn't the point of the game, and it pissed me off.
I'm Batman Clay. No, God fucking damn it. I'm Wonder Woman Clay.
Clay, shut up.
I'm Captain America Clay. Okay.
No, it's like, how are you doing, Clay? And he just turns around and puts his Zorro mask on, and he's like, I'm Night Clay. Mm-hmm. Fluorescent lights can be... How can fluorescent lights be so damn noisy?
Wow.
And then I saw it. Then I felt it. It hung motionless in the air, feet lightly scraping the ground. It had dry, cracked skin that was dressed loosely with torn, rough-spun shorts. It had a torso of a man, but also the rest of its body was a man, too. It was Man-Man.
Oh, no.
It was like a centaur, but instead it was two people.
It was Clay Man.
Mm-hmm.
But its torso was on the wrong side.
Nope.
No.
On the wrong way. That makes a lot more sense. I was like, what the fuck?
No, it doesn't, but okay. It's still weird.
His torso was backwards. That makes sense.
No, okay. His torso... No, it'd be like tilted 90 degrees clockwise on his body.
We've got an L-shaped man.
Its frail and feeble arms stretched out wide open to the ceiling, not quite reaching, as if in an act of surrender. It had a cocked head, as if confused, as it peered, capitalized, down the hallway at me. Dark, beady eyes stared widely at me through the holes in the bloody duct tape wrapped around its head, and it started to float toward us.
All right, points off for it not being in a T-pose. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, number one, correct. Number two, this feels a bit much and a bit too soon, and it's I at first I was like, oh god, there's a monster, but there's no reason that there can't be. We just found our bearings, and exploring the Backrooms is about the crushing solitude and the mundanity, and this is really just, there was weird geometrically shaped rooms, and then I found clay, and a monster. Like, I feel like we really haven't established our atmosphere yet, and I know everyone knows what the Backrooms are, but that doesn't excuse the lack of build-up.
I would say that there's definitely an element where you want the isolation to be the number one thing. And the original little Creepypasta had the mention of, like, a thing hearing you. So I don't have the problem with, like, the monster. I like that idea, too. I do think, though, that having multiple people was probably not the best idea for conveying this kind of Backrooms story. You know, us backroom experts who have totally, read everything. But I think
I played the puppet combo game. I know what I'm talking about.
I know what I'm talking about. No, but I do think that the isolation, like you're talking about, is the important thing. And I also want to say that there's kind of like, obviously, if you like horror stuff, you're dealing with dark concepts and you kind of enjoy them and you enjoy being scared. And so, like, these stories are supposed to be about isolation, and you kind of enjoy the isolation. It's kind of like a thing that's, like, refreshing because, you have all of these times when you're a kid and you're in that, like, hell of, humbuzz fluorescent lights at the grocery store, and it's like, I just want the Fruit Loops and I want to go home. I just want the Fruit Loops and I want to go home.
This one has Batman card. I want to get this one. Has Batman card.
You dumb bitch! You told me that there would be Fruit Loops if I came, and there's Fruit Loops in the cart, but they're not in my mouth. This is defeating the purpose. Can I just get the Fruit Loops and go home?
All right, enough about your discussions with Chelsea. But okay, so I'm gonna sort of give my 2 cents here, and I don't know what you guys will think of this, but I think we needed a little bit. I agree with the thing about it needing less characters. We needed less in the arcade and the mall, and the less that area where that's, like, removed, we needed more of the back rooms earlier.
I would agree.
Like, we were at the arcade and we didn't have any quarters, and then we went to find a bathroom, one of us fell through the wall. Then a nice big thing about wandering the fucking place. And I think whatever creature you're going to use, I don't particularly like the visuals of the creature where it's like, oh, it's a corpsey, ghosty guy. It's like, okay, well, that could be fucking anything. That could be something that walks down the street at night and you see it under a street light. Just a guy with duct tape head,
I mean, I would prefer if the monster had less description because it's, especially for the back rooms, it's, I think, more effective if you have a somewhat vaguely described, almost featureless thing that's just stalking you. It doesn't need to be super detailed.
Right.
Something sort of like Slender Man or like the Milkman, where it's just like features of a human, but something just slightly off about them.
I could see the Rake here, honestly. Sorry.
That's all right. First of all, okay, quickly, it should be a normal human shape, but its head is a blinding fluorescent glow, where you can't make out anything at the top.
Yeah.
But secondly, it should be that there is so much mundanity and banalness of what's going on that by the time the monster shows up, it should be almost like a welcomed thing to the character. Like, something different is happening. I'm going to die. Cool. Like there's some break in this monotony. Fucking finally, something different. Please kill me. I hate it here. It should be like a welcomed thing,
I do like the concept of Mr. Humbuzz.
Yeah, that's strong.
Every time I blinked, I stunned in terror. It's not what I expected. My feet forward, some inches to the left. It felt where it should be.
Okay.
Sure, whatever.
Moving on.
Okay. And yet it was getting closer. Ever closer. What I saw next will follow me forever.
The monster. I saw the monster. It followed me forever.
People, we don't need these sentiments. We don't need. It's one sentence. It's apart from a paragraph. Just delete it. Just take it out. It adds nothing to the story. I turned to run, breaking the stillness, and sprinted down the hallway. I don't know. I guess I just assumed Clay would follow at the moment. I was wrong. A blood-curdling screech shook the hallway, and I whipped around. It had reached Clay. He still wasn't looking, but he was certainly screaming. It extended its long, spindly arms and cradled him like a child.
Oh.
But it wouldn't look away from me. No, its eyes never left mine. I think the "it" capitalization is addressing it as a proper noun.
Right.
So I'm going to excuse what we originally thought was misspelling.
And I'm going to go ahead and capitalize the word excuse.
Are we calling it though?
I think that's
Pennywise,
what the author is intending, but has not specifically stated, which they should. But yeah,
it's like
I don't
Stephen
like
King's
that.
It. Yeah. But I like the idea of its eyes never leaving the character, but I would prefer, as I said, if it was in a T-pose, and no matter where he went, it was always facing him, like a fucking 2D asset,
Yeah, like a Doom or that kind of game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking organize a rally. I don't know what for.
Are you?
It's gonna be something.
Uh-oh. Here it
and
comes.
Our mode of protest is just going to be T-posing everywhere. They won't be able to do anything to us. It's too powerful.
Abysmii is like, I'm gonna start a rally, and I'm gonna start a cause, and we're gonna have a movement, and we're gonna T-pose, but with one hand up in the air in front of us. Palm flat. All right,
we're going to get masks to put on our head that are going to be shaped like light bulbs, and we're going to T-pose, and we're going to call ourselves the alt-light.
God damn it. In one quick jerking motion, it was holding Clay by the top of his head, palming him like a basketball.
Oh no.
It
Poor
leaped
Clay.
into the air and slam dunked him into a net I hadn't noticed before.
Come on in here, and welcome to the slam.
He did the ground pound.
Yeah.
He was almost like clay in his hand.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh.
I blinked, and it had grasped Clay's arm with its free hand. With brute strength, it twisted Clay by the torso. It is molding him like clay. Okay. Clay's screaming cut short with a fleshy crunch. A fleshy crunch in every bite of
Fruity
Lucky
Pebbles.
Charms. Fruity Pebbles. Bonnie! My testicles! Hey,
Why
Fred.
does it always turn into Albert?
Because I can't do it. As he dropped to the floor in a twisted pile, his eyes had finally opened to look at me one last time. All right.
And then I screamed. The louder I screamed, the louder the fluorescent hum became. It was louder. I couldn't tell. I turned and ran to the first door I saw, blindly twisting and turning through the rooms that followed. Why on earth does every room look the same? As I turned a corner and ran face first into a dark mass. All that I see.
Oh
We
no, it's
both
Fat
fell to the
Albert.
floor. Yeah.
Night Clay.
Andy.
Fat Albert, what are you doing in the back rooms?
Oh no! We're trapped in the back rooms! I don't know what that means, but it seems terrifying for some reason.
So I
This
forgot
isn't
there
the
were
junkyard at all.
I forgot there were other characters in this. Andy, and I'm like, oh fuck.
This
There's
is just
more
like
people.
it's just like that last ghost story we read where it was like Pat and the White Man, where it's just and then Bill and then Jessica and then Thomas. Just unnecessary characters. How did you get down here? Where the hell are we? I don't know, Andy. Where's Philip? We have to get him right now and leave. We turned and rushed down a third hallway, perpendicular to the hallway Andy and I met in. We ran until we felt we could run no more, and then fell into a final doorway. We landed in a mass on the damp floor and quickly scuttled to the back wall.
Fuck.
The hum of the lights was all we could hear, louder and louder.
And then they all went out. Silence.
Imprisoning
The end.
me.
We found ourselves in total darkness, all that we could see, and total silence, all that we could hear, as we clutched each other. Not in that
Aw.
way, though. No, wait. Not total silence. The sound of static, as if emitting from a television or a Slender Man, slowly coming toward us. Only when the light, coming from the source of the noise, started to slowly illuminate the room did I realize. This room, had only one door.
And
One
the
way in, one
words
door.
of the no sleep are written on the backroom walls.
And that door led out of the Twilight Zone.
For your consideration for the Midnight Society.
It floated around the door frame, toes dragging on the floor as it cast its bloody eyes upon us. Andy and I, mute with fear, stood against the wall. Andy moved himself in front of me. It floated toward us. Andy raised his arms wide open. It reached out for us. Leave us alone! Not afraid of you anymore!
God damn it. This is battery acid, you slime. So
Ding dong.
well, this is
And Julie.
interesting because we went all this time without realizing our narrator is female. Because Andy is moving himself in front of her, and it's like, don't worry, babe, I'll protect you, you know?
I don't think that's a thing.
Audible confusion.
Audibly
Abysmii is just
confused
like,
Abysmii.
I have no regard for females.
That's... God damn it.
Fuck is a female? I thought all of you humans were the same gender. That gender being gross. We all became statues. We locked eyes with it as we listened to the intercom crackle to life. Shallow, rapid breathing came through the speaker.
Andy!
It was Philip. With a guttural scream, Andy lunged towards it. I fell backwards into the wall, and I landed inside of a trash can where I belong.
Ah, so he has escaped. He fell back into a wall. There's only one door in and one door out, so we know he's escaped. As I landed... You read the trash can part, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What? I was inside a trash can where I belonged, filled with the refuse from a full day of food court disposal. Kid, what? Oh, go ahead.
That is my favorite death metal album title, Food Court Disposal.
God damn it. By Sparrow. Kid, what are you doing in there? I looked out to see a very confused elderly janitor, wondering why a young man was taking a Sparrow bath after mall hours.
Could it, the elderly janitor just be R.L. Stein dressed up in, like, old man janitor outfits, like R.L. Stein from the 90s, and just, like, really bad TV movie makeup? What are you doing in there, kid? And then he just turns to look at the camera and, like, winks real hard.
Kid, you look like you've seen a back room.
It was 9:32 p.m. At least that's what the clock over the water fountain said. The water fountain? I was back in the mall.
Huh.
Oh, sorry, I was just hungry. And I ran. What?
Oh, please. You know what that
Is that
reminds
really-
me of?
What?
You sure can do some great tricks on those motorcycles. How did you learn to ride a bike? Is it fun? King of Suma Beach came up and... Non sequitur quotes in a time of peril.
In the following year... Oh, sorry, we have a page break, so time has passed. In the following years, I would try to make sense of what happened in that back hallway. I even went so far as returning there and trying to access that place, but to no avail. I never found a thing, but I kept trying until they demolished the mall a year later.
Wow, 1 year later. Philip and Andy's parents weren't really upset. Oh, no, wait. Weren't really present when they were around. So they didn't make much of a deal on TV when they were interviewed, despite the
Convenient.
media trying to fire them up. They didn't care about their kids.
It's... yeah, okay. It kind of just lessens the punch of these kids are gone forever.
You know, I don't expect anybody but elderly Gen X people to remember this, but there was a fucking insane amount of paranoia when I was a kid of, you know, kids being abducted from malls and shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was,
Danger.
yeah, there
Yeah.
was, is it Adam Walsh? Was that the kid?
I think so.
His father, John Walsh, I think it was, had the show where he, you know, a kid was kidnapped from a mall and murdered, and his father went on to become like one of those TV show hosts of like true crime shows. You know, America's Most Wanted, that show. But there was a big panic about it, and it's like, I know this isn't like taking place in the 80s because of the texting, but it's like you would think they would immediately think their kids were kidnapped and possibly murdered or out there somewhere being tortured or, you know.
Stranger danger paranoia persisted well into the 90s and the early aughts. Like, that did not just go away overnight. So it is very.
I would say it's worse than ever, honestly.
Oh yeah, like in certain places, like the mall in where I live is huge, and there are a lot of kids running around, but they're usually like
too fast for you, yeah.
Junior and seniors in high school, so they're kind of like old enough to be on their own. But like kids just do not walk around unsupervised because parents just do not let that happen anymore.
They had this news report like a couple years ago where they were like, teen girls are turning tricks at malls in return for expensive purses and things like that. And I was thinking to myself, you're just driving up the customer base for malls. You're gonna just have a ton of people going there hanging out waiting. Like,
I got it.
Well, I'm just saying you can't get a teenage prostitute on Amazon unless you know what cabinets to look for.
God damn it.
All I want are Gucci bags and Prada on my feet.
Despite the media trying to fire them up, they just seemed like it was the final straw to send them into total apathy.
Last I heard, Clay's parents moved out of town, but they were paying exorbitant PI bills to find their son. After a few years of half-assed detective work, like from the last episode of the Fear Fiction Podcast, a few rotations of carton milk cartons.
The name's Cotton Milks. I sell milk cartons.
Sell milk cartons. In the milk carton business, I am. Yes, I am.
My name's Cotton Milk, inventor of the milk carton. Sir, why have you put pictures of missing children on the side? They're missing. They weren't when we had the photo
Inventor
shoot.
of the milk gin.
God damn it.
Threshes and crushes your milk. Andy and Philip were forgotten by our sleepy town, but sometime when I'm going to sleep, I remember. And I leave on the TV, channel 03. There's nothing broadcasting on that channel. Just the static helps me sleep.
Oh, wow. I just want to say at closing, this feels kind of like Goosebumps mashed up with Stephen King's It. You have the apathetic parents, you have kids disappearing, and nothing really happens to, find them back.
So, here's the thing, guys. Sometimes I think about it, and I leave the TV on channel 3. There's nothing broadcasting but static, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, previously in the story, his friend Clay was on the floor inconsolable in a fetal position saying, change the channel. Does this mean that what goes on in the back rooms is perpetually happening in the TV static of channel 3? And when he leaves it on, Clay is like saying, change the channel, because it's, I don't know what the fuck. Is there any relation there that we're missing, or is it just unintended? It seems like a connection.
Your guess is probably the best one, but I couldn't tell you either way. I think this story, as we've previously stated, does not establish well the atmosphere and the condition of being in the back rooms very well. We spend barely any time in it, and then a monster pops out, and the narrator gets out because they have to be on no sleep, and then we're done. It's not a terrible story. Like, it's perfectly solidly written. It's just, if you're basing it on the back rooms and you don't spend much time in the back rooms, that's going to be disappointing in the end.
Well, I think that there's definitely the element of you need to have victims in the story. You need to have a monster in the story. This is just a victim of no sleep syndrome where you have to hit these check marks. If instead it was literally just a story like, yeah, I fucking clipped into the back rooms and the shit was weird and I explored for a little bit and I heard something spooky and luckily I got out of there, people would be like, boo, there wasn't a monster, nobody got killed or raped.
Yeah.
That wasn't scary.
Where's the dread of losing a friend? That's something I wish I had. But I think that the biggest sin of this story, and I will say that I don't hate the story.
Was that two friends who were male were hugging each other?
Yes, that's a sin. No. The biggest sin of the story...
right here, Leviticus.
Fucking damn it. The biggest sin in the story is creating an exit from the back rooms. The fact that you can clip back out of it. Because I always thought you clip into it, you're fucking stuck for eternity. But if you can just clip out at random points, that means you're never actually stuck there and you can just feel along the walls till you get out. And there's no point, there's no horror to it, except for the fleeting moment where you're like, how do I get out of here? Oh, here it is. You know?
And that's the thing, is I don't think most authors are going to have the patience to write a good backroom story. To say, and then I was bored for a really long time.
Well, and that's the weird thing. A good backroom story to me would be rather short. It would not be a series. It would it wouldn't even be this long, of what we just read.
Here's an idea. What about we go to the Backrooms wiki?
Why do you keep introducing us to these things? These SCP wiki things that we just lose interest in after 4 or 5 episodes?
What are you saying? This is sustainable. It's a Backrooms database.
DP.
Backroom stories.
DP, I have a question for you. This is white text on a yellow background. How do you know what this site is? You can't read this shit. This is all kinds of fucking with you. What do you...
So I found out about this. Apparently someone from the RPC Foundation, made this fucking thing. And the curious thing to me is there enough content with the concept of the Backrooms to make a wiki page for it?
No.
And allegedly there is, and they're trying to build out a bunch of lore for what I think should be a really simple concept. So let's curiosity, let's just check it out. Let's just, very briefly look at the Backrooms page. I pulled up one story. It's level 115.
A man once asked, hey, could I take the Paramount monster, the classic movie monsters, and make a cinematic universe out of it? And a wiser person said, no, you dumb fuck. So that's all I have to say.
I will say this Backrooms database angers me greatly because way back in the day, and in fact Backrooms in general angers me greatly, way back in the day I wanted to write a story about an infinite hallway with doors on either side of the hall. And each door would lead to a different, room, but it would be you'd go in one door and you'd be in a television studio. You'd go in another door, you'd be in a mechanics shop. Each different things like that. And of course it had specific lore about, what you would find in each room. Each room would have, a entity that was an expert in something. You'd have some kind of creature that was a mechanic creature, and you'd have his underling, which was each one would have a Sith and student relationship with some shit. And
this
never was
really
able...
complex.
Yeah, this is the thing. I was never able to figure out how the fuck I was ever going to do that. So the time passed by, and now it's irrelevant because you've got Backrooms in the Backroom database.
I think you're better for not trying to force it.
Yeah, because as you can tell from me saying it, it's it's a thought process where you're well, I don't know how I would ever make that so that anybody else would ever get that or be interested in it or want to. So.
Well, like DP said, we're here, so let's try it.
Yeah.
So obviously we're going in with a negative attitude about this. I do just want to say, let's give this a fair shake.
No.
Okay.
Obviously, it looks like a lot of work has been put into building the site. Looks like they're trying to, build it out for the long haul. So let's just see what 115 has on offer.
Oh boy.
So it's it's survival difficulty class 3.
I'm already bored.
God damn it, guys!
Is 3 is 3 low or high? Does it start at 1 or does it start at 5? What?
I don't know. We'll find. It's unsafe, unsecure, and it has a low entity count.
Is that a low white blood cell count?
Yes.
This first sentence pisses me off.
Level 115 is basically like having AIDS. Level 115 is the 114th level of the Backrooms discovered on August 8th, 2017.
By who?
I'm so angry right now.
It's a picture of a ski resort room, an indoor ski area. Am I seeing this correctly?
Yeah, it's a prefabricated, fake indoor snow thing, having a fake indoor ocean, a water park, and it's all indoors. Oh God, I have never been more unenthused for a concept.
I picked one that was like highly rated, so we'll see.
Level 115 is actually 114. Fuck you.
Is level 115? 115 resembles an indoor skiing resort. Its hallways twist and turn for what seems to be forever, and the vents on the side of the walls blow out chilly air, which will either be colder or warmer depending on your entrance.
Oh, God.
Sometimes it will snow frozen almond water. Advise not to drink unfiltered, and it will reach negative 10 degrees Celsius and below, making this level hard to settle in.
Okay.
Chairs lift occupants of the level and are most functional.
No.
Chair lifts occupy a lot of the level and are mostly functional.
Guys, this is literally just an SCP. Like, this isn't even a Backrooms room. This is an SCP. This is
what if they were SCPs, but they were all backrooms?
This is SCP-5115, perpetually snowing ski resort, almond water ski resort. You know?
Almond Creek.
Oh, the faceling are the main entity here, and they're harmless if left undisturbed. They can be seen with warm clothes and attempting to ski.
Without knowing anything about the facelings, just the fact that they're called facelings and that they are trying to ski and dressed in warm clothes, I can already tell they're mannequin-like people. They're just placeholder people.
Yeah, the placeholder people.
Yeah.
That's what, I guess, really, that's what I was asking for in the last story, is I want there to be placeholder people, kind of like NPCs.
Right.
That are just like, not...
Yellow
like
room bad, yeah.
Low polygon people.
Yes.
Shops adorn the halls with a faceling shopkinger all these hosers here. All these hoes are facelings.
I want to point out DP wanted to continue. Okay, go ahead.
Who can sell you food and almond water for free. Occasionally, skin stealers and hounds can be spotted wandering around.
I went to a different part of the wiki because I don't care what's happening right now. Because I was going to look to see if facelings were like a common occurrence and if that was deep lore that we should have known going in. And I got to the groups page, and one of the groups are the Cold Reich. And one of the mysterious groups is the Zionists. DP, what the fuck did you introduce us to?
Is this just a giant shit post?
It sounds like it, because it's a wiki based off of the Backrooms.
Okay, since Abysmii is reading something else, I'll take his position here. Okay. Occasionally, basket lungs can be seen trying to play bocce ball. There is a Finn man who can tell your future, but he appreciates it if you rub his feet beforehand. Okay.
Okay, I will finish, or just keep reading this, I guess. Are we even on to additional content?
Yes.
Insulated blankets can be found randomly throughout the level. It is best advised to go for these, as this can help you keep warm.
This is a video game design.
Yeah. Matches can be found, and there were already video games made about the Backrooms. They did it a lot better than this.
Make one about mine, the ski room.
It's an abandoned ski resort where you get on the gondola and just go around in circles forever. Matches can be found in the corners of the level. Great paired with the uncommonly found insulated blankets. Materials can be found here such as wood, metal, pins. Wow, this really is just a fucking video game script. This level gives you a feeling of nostalgia, but it is advised to ignore it. Ignore anything that seems nostalgic, as well as windows.
Alright, I'm gonna complete this fucking thing. Colonies...
Neener.
Neener. That should be the Windows... That should be the starting sound for Windows 11. Alright, I'm gonna finish this...
Neener. When you're turning it off.
Whenever there's an error, it just goes, nee. Alright, so I'm gonna finish this fucking thing off. Colonies and outposts. Environmental research team. Partakes in the study of the environments of many levels. Okay. Entrances and exits. Entrances. To enter level 115, you must noclip through water, and there is a chance you will end up here. The colder it is, the better your chances are. However, it will make the lobby section of the level colder if the water was colder. Exits.
Okay, so here's there's the question. Because we don't know, are we no-clipping through water in like another level, or just water in reality?
I don't care.
Just kids, go out there, try and drown yourself to get to level 115.
Kids are calling it no clipping through water.
Daddy, I'm gonna noclip. Watch.
Kids are calling it drowning.
Kids are calling it exits. To exit level 115, you must ask a faceling at the main desk located in the main lobby. You will be told to go to the ski lifts. Okay.
I hate this.
Tell me that this wasn't a great decision to read this.
I hate this so much.
Okay, DP, this wasn't a great decision to read this.
Like,
Are you kidding
okay,
me?
this, I'm gonna try to be fair here. I appreciate the work that goes into setting all this up. There's a lot of deep lore here. There's apparently a lot planned. And if this is your thing, more power to you. Personally speaking, please stop making these wikis. Please stop taking simple, great, charming concepts and running them into the fucking ground. Just stop, please. Because DP's going to continue to find them and make us read them.
Hey, if you make a shitpost, fucking, I'll force them to read it.
Why can't we get a fucking, like, waifu wiki or something that's SCP style I can read? Then at least I'll be having fun.
Make the waifu wiki. Please make it.
Be the
Make it
change you want to see, Abysmii. You should start it.
I'm too drunk.
What would you call it? Call it the Paranormal Mating Service, or PMS.
No, you call it the waifu wiki.
No,
'cause
okay,
that's
fine.
alliterative.
Fine.
Well, there's already something that there's the Wayward Society, so that's already taken the WWs.
Well, the waifu wiki would overshadow it in a matter of hours.
Ooh.
Also, there is a waifu wiki on fandom.com, so never mind. Oh, wait, it's just a page. Never mind. It doesn't actually do anything.
But the problem is, if you're going to make a waifu wiki, it has to be all original waifus. We don't want just this thing where it's like, Jane, the killer, is, blah, blah, blah. We don't, just, it has to be
Yeah, no, put in the
unique.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unique original waifus.
but
Put
make
in
it.
the work. Yeah. I want waifus. I want them on a wiki.
Now, Michelle doesn't like the fact that I'm a constant contributor to the waifu wiki. And I keep trying to tell her it's just a hobby. Doesn't mean anything.
We have to keep deleting Biden's posts. I don't want to say why. He has a specific type of waifu that's not allowed.
It's kind of gross. Not gonna lie.
This has been the Fear Fiction Podcast. Your hosts are Abysmii, Dead Palette, and Slimebeast. Music by Abysmii. Art by C.F. Comer. Voiceover by Atticus Jackson. Edited by Elias the Intern. Subscribe to Fearfic on YouTube to stay up to date on new episodes.
Come on down to Trickle Johnson's Pea Warehouse. We've recently opened back up and have done some renovating, but kept the same overwhelming pea smell you're used to. The same great atmosphere you'd expect from a local pea-themed family restaurant and bar. Come check out our newly increased pants wetting station. We've been a part of this community for 11 years and have finally bought out that unsightly Sbarro behind us at the Groban Outlet Mall, and use that space to expand our pants wetting station with all new features. We now have spotting spots for 30 and viewing room for an additional 20, and as mandated by Idaho law, complimentary galoshes with industrial strength grip make wetting safer than ever. Sure, you could have a mundane night peeing yourself at home, but the only thing sadder than drinking alone is peeing alone. So come visit our classic urinarium deck with original steel drum design for community stream sessions. Become a part of something bigger than yourself and trickle on down during happy hour between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. every single day. Contribute then, but stick around for the 9 o'clock bucket dunk celebration. The lower level below the urinarium deck becomes the warmest, wettest dance club in town. Meet our rotating cast of Trickle Johnson's really gotta go real bad pee-pee woo-ha dancers in our private shower room. Get to know the hydration level of all the lovely ladies as they pee on you, you pee on them, and the pee flows freely. Limit 5 guests per private shower room. Don't forget to leave your kids at the Trickle Johnson's patented pee-pee potty Slides room with live entertainment every night from Squirts the Clown, Splish and Splash the comedy duo, and Puddles the magic golden retriever and PP lever. Run on down to Trickle Johnson's Pea Warehouse. Thank you for an amazing 11 years we couldn't make without you. That's Trickle Johnson's Pea Warehouse, next to the Stage 4 Dookie Water Dealer. Trickle Johnson's Pea Warehouse, no public restroom.
Emperor Lemon, or Lemon.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, my boy.
Thanks. Awesome. Just did a great video on...
Hold on, let me crack open this cold boy. Hold on just a moment. Jeez, God,
Jesus
interrupting
Christ,
the drink.
people! I open the floors for objections, and all I get is back sass.
Okay, lawyer Abysmii.
Anyway.
Your Honor, I opened the floor for objections, and all I got was back sass. Now, I ain't no big city, Abysmii.
Counsel, you're not allowed to open the floor.
Big city, big country Abysmii. Just pounding his gavel is just like, Your Honor, no more of this back sass. No more of this back sass.
Now, Abysmii, I told you to stop bringing your gavel to court cases. God damn it.
Big cunt Abysmii.
You don't have to let them know, okay? If you want to keep that private information, it's fine.
That's true.
Whatever.
Big crab cunt Abysmii.
So
Yeah,
you
that's
wanted
right,
to pitch Emperor Towel or something, Emperor... What was it? Towel lesbians?
Emperor Towels sounds like a Chinese state-run business towel conglomerate empire.
Wow, racist.
Do you have any towels for your butt side?
God damn it.
Fucking... I'm pretty sure one of the main car manufacturers in China is actually called Big Wall Cars or something. Or like Great Wall Cars. There's like 4, and they're all just owned by the state, of course. But
So Abysmii's plug for this episode, Great Wall Cars in China. Everybody buy your cars there, I guess. I don't know.
Go buy one. I don't think they export, but go buy one.
Yeah.
Emperor Lemon is great.
Yeah, he had a really good recent video about Rick and Morty, and not really like the downfall, but just the change in approach that season 3 onward has taken. It's a very good retrospective on Rick and Morty. Very interesting, and I think
it really it takes the whole concept of like why it was so big one day, and then literally within a week it's just like, oh, I hate this. I hate this so much.
Well, and even he doesn't say like, I don't hate Rick and Morty. I still enjoy it. I still rewatch a lot of episodes, but I can understand why a lot of people are not into it anymore, and really does a good job of putting into words, I think, a lot of the feelings many fans, myself included, had after season 3. It's just very interesting. You know, you don't watch it to make up your mind about anything, but it's an interesting discussion to have.
Big IQ Abysmii watches Rick and Morty. Big IQ Abysmii.
It wasn't so much about, like, you know, the show is bad now. It's more just a matter of, like, here's why people got a sour taste in their mouth about this, and it's very true.
And he could have gone into it deeper on a lot of other, like, contributing factors, but I think the video is perfectly concise in what it wanted to get across.
Yeah.
And it's a good springboard for talking about that show. And other shows like it, not that there's many like it, but you know what I mean.
And if you like listening to us bitch about YouTube and how awful it is, go watch the rest of Emperor Lemon's catalog.
Yeah.
Oh, the 3-part copyright series is great.
As is the one on Twitter verification.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet. I need to.
It's excellent. It's excellent.
Will do.
I think his 3-part copyright series was taken down due to copyright claims. Not really. I'm lying.